Hey. Don't stop. It won't stop.
Other like our fellow human beings. Separated we are weak, divided we are conquered. Together we're unstoppable. United we are prosperous. Together stop the usury. Strengthen our communities.
Hey! How you doing? You good? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. You guys are awesome. So, I wasn't going to do this one today, but I had a lot of requests. I guess it's a pretty popular song, so I guess I'm going to have to. Let's amp it up a little bit. I went to see the doctor with the touch of the flu, and I'm kind of skeptical of what he told me to do. He said that I should lock myself inside my room for a year, shut my God and central business down and count and fear. I said, Doc, I don't know, that seems so unaligned. Give it 3, maybe 4 days, I bet I'll be fine. He said, no, you must not, you must wait for the shot. Everybody's got a kid, society sucks. I said, Doc, I don't know. Really true, these shots are brand new, they fully approved. He said, no, you can trust us, it's the latest in science. Never mind the people dying when the doctor resigns. I said, Doc, you don't have to be mistaken for someone pliable. I can't trust you if you know these companies are liable, so I'm gonna stay the course and run way wrong. Your backseat and shove it up and just say no. 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 It's a scam and it's all about control. So doing what they say won't make it go away. Oh no, the flames don't know, the legs don't go. Who win and snow? So I left the doctor's office and stepped onto the street, feeling troubled by the lies and campaigning to see. But I'm not easily defeated, I'm not one to retreat. I tried to make a post about it and deleted the tweet. Undeterred, I stood on the corner holding a sign. The cops showed up, I got arrested and fined. They told me that my words are considered a crime. Next to be coming from the thoughts in your mind. I knew they were wrong, I took my ticket and left. They're trying to make it difficult for those of us who resist. And with every headline, the propaganda continues. Now they say I'm gonna need a shot to step in and get you. All according to script, it's going exactly as planned. Next they're gonna wanna put a microchip in our hand. They say conspiracy theory, and that's all that they do. But it isn't just a theory if it keeps coming true. And that's why I'm gonna just say no. 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 So these are people that nail the final boss down. I'm not about to back down. I'm hopping in the sack. I'm coming at it from a different angle like a southpaw. This system is corrupt, so it's good to be an outlaw. I'm rallying the troops. I'm looking for the lions who will never get more beef with the giants. The past ones who get away with just one. Gonna make us take a new shot every 6 months. It's only getting worse. Every time that we decline more, they take away the rights in our grandparents' died for. Time to divide and let the vibes rise more. Make a better world for our kids while we strive.
But
Getting rid
that
of all
looks cool.
restrictions and masks. Say no to passports, resisting the jab. Time to kick some dust up like an unpaved road. So say it with me, Canada. Tell them just say no.
Just say no! 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 Just say no!
Just say no.
Just say no! RC Rapper, folks! RC Rapper!
That felt good, man. Make some noise, Canada.
I was in the store the other day, right? And this cashier, they go, "Hey man, where's your mask? What are you, an anti-masker?" And I was wearing my gear.
All right. Bring my friend Mitch up here to do a song.
The other day, right? And this cashier,
This one's called The Truth.
"Where's your mask? What are you, an anti-masker?"
What's going on the
Outside!
Give it up for RC, the rapper, everybody! Give it up for Mitch Murphy, the red pill rapper, one time.
It's Murphy!
Let's go! Living on the king. Love. That's me and RC, we're coming to your city. So keep on vibing with it, and soon you're gonna see how we can move a crowd, and we can keep it loud. So keep my name about your mouth unless I hear you talking proud. We're the loudest truthers in this country. I don't need a pocket gun under the seat. I got RC with the 80s, baby, behind the skis, and we don't play our hide and seek. We're out here, we're speaking truth. For that beacon of light, for the youth that being abused by the news. May as well apply the news, so flush your bills, don't sign no deals, and keep your gender and pull it down. God loves you just the way you are. I'm trying to tell you that you could be a star. Now don't you listen to that farmer. Don't you stick that needle in your armor. And don't you listen to your teacher neither. You're in an indoctrination station and they want to steal the nation. But we're out here to stop. I know we're red pill rapper cause we on the same team. We both think the new normal is a really strange scene. Everybody wearing masks. Stop to wake them up and expose the fake scheme. The times are getting thick like a cup of straight cream. But we ain't gonna stop cause of a little hating. Armed with the mic and a stack of dank memes. That's our COVID shield. We don't need to take no vaccines. We on the front lines where the rain or sunshine. Mind unchained and the feeling sublime. We ain't taking bad deals. We ain't signing subprime. And we dodge COVID jabs like I was the one time. We need to close that rule book and write a new chapter. Where common sense, stats, and facts still matter. It's nothing but a scam. Just ask red pill rapper as we turn on the light and watch the roaches all scatter. It's nothing but the truth when we step in the booth. The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. I said it's nothing but the truth when we step in the booth. The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. Isolated and debated, keep you popping pills you hated. They just want to keep you all infatuated, can't debate it. Keep you from the cross and constipated. Look, that's the fact you don't want to cross it, not gonna make it, not gonna make it. That's what will you're not gonna make it. Now just let me demonstrate it. I'm so proud of the guy. I'm gonna get it right, I'm gonna get it up, I'm feeling alright. I'm trying to end up with my chest on tight, trying to end up getting lit tonight. I'm gonna get this right, I'm gonna get this right, I'm gonna get it right. I'ma dedicate my life, all my soul and all my might. We stand in truth, we stand in light. Put on our capes and we take
Alright,
flight.
we're gonna go for a little bit of a walk. Thank you for rapping with us.
Nothing but the truth when we step in the booth. The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. I said it's nothing but your hands, Ottawa! The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. It's nothing but the truth when we step in the booth. The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. I said it's nothing but the truth when we step in the booth. The news won't do it, so we give them the scoop. Hey, thanks everybody. I'm gonna do one more song for y'all, and some of you guys might have heard this one.
Alright.
Give it up for Mitch Murphy. Mitch, want to speak to the crowd a little bit? Want to say anything?
So I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go for a walk down to the other blockade where it was just reported that an older man and his wife were carrying jerry cans in and were accosted, threatened with fines and. Oh, cute as anything. The violence is just absurd. Oh, we've got a man in a box. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, there are terrorists and scary people here. Ooh, yeah! Oh, the violence is just absurd. Oh, we've got a man in a box.
I am the chosen one. I love it. Freedom Convoy simulation.
God, endless opportunities for shots, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, right beyond there, you see that like kind of bulbous glass thing there? Right beyond there and to the right was Confederation Park, where we had originally parked a month and a half ago and also, a week and a half ago. And we got kicked out of there a couple nights ago, and now we're just a couple blocks down from the stage. But now we've walked a couple minutes, 3 blocks down outside of the Fairmont here. And this is the big blockade that they're not moving, man. I've talked to every single one of these guys. Yeah. Good to see.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, they clearly weren't looking for Sasquatch. Very, very quiet. The reason it's quiet is because there was a 10-day moratorium that the truckers have agreed to. So we're day 1.5 into that. So you won't hear many honking because they're trying to work it out. They want dialogue. They don't want to be hard-assed about it. But unless they get it, they're not moving, so. Hey, you guys getting paid by the city or something? What's going on? Oh. You're helping him. Why are you doing this?
I mean, I've been in my truck for the last 14 days. Just need something to do. It clears the sidewalk for people. So, yeah, it makes us look good. The cops are watching, have a smile on their face. So, yeah.
So hold on a second. Whoa, missiles are flying. So you have been here for 14 days.
Well, not exactly 14, but since last Monday in the morning. So,
Okay.
the red truck right there.
So you spent your own money to get here, I'm guessing?
Well, I'm actually from Ottawa. I'm local.
Okay, you're local.
Yeah.
And you've been in your truck, and now what you've decided to do is do the job for the city.
Yeah, I've done it a few times since I got here when it snowed and cleared over there.
Yeah.
And this morning we did a little bit, and then my buddy Jimmy, he came and got me, so we ended up doing some more, and now we're planning on clearing all of that stuff.
Wow, man. You know what? It's amazing. We could save a bunch of money at the city and the... Oh, so many cool creatures, man. So many cool... Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here this evening. By way of introduction, I'm getting better and better at this every night. You watch. Tonight's going to be better than any other time you've ever seen me do this. Only because I have like one of the coolest guests, and I'm feeling particularly good today. I feel like, I'm okay. Because when I see guys like this, 24 years old out in the streets, shoveling them to keep something going, to keep the flame alive, to keep the flame of love alive, it makes me excited. And when I was reviewing the footage of our guest here tonight, I got even more excited. So I'm very excited for you as I introduce to you Jonny Rowe. Jonny Rowe is one of the Wellington regulars. All right, here we go. Jonny Rowe.
Hello, people.
Johnny.
Jim, good to see you.
Johnny. Okay, so I'm gonna first tell you how I met this guy. Maybe he can actually tell you because he reminded me. But I was in Kingston for a rally. This gentleman rolled up on the side of the bus, and a conversation ensued. It probably was a 20-minute conversation, I'm guessing at least. And I had no idea who this guy was, and I'm gonna let him say the rest.
Yeah, that was my very first public act of resistance, was attending that protest in Kingston. It was the first one I'd ever been to, and I think it was in September, October, November of 2021. It was early on, and I got there. I went by myself. I didn't know anybody there, and I was kind of deflated. It was very kind of low energy, and there wasn't much happening. I didn't really. I don't know what I expected, but I'd been locked up for 2 years, and I was looking forward to something more. But then, as I was leaving, I ran into you and saw the bus and the bubbles and your whole attitude, and I was immediately struck that at least somebody knows what they're doing, and and look at us now, brother. Yes, and the way of peace, it starts from the beginning, and it has to be that way all the way through. And I recognize that in you right away. Peace comes from the inside of each one of us, and so it takes one to know one, brother. And so I actually left much more hopeful that I knew that there was at least some people out there that were going to be trying the right way. And it's a struggle because we're tempted every day to become our enemies, and the strength and discipline and everything it takes to see it all the way through with peace,
So now I want to just give some qualifying statements here. You're not just speaking about peace as an abstract idea here. You have engaged in some discipline in your life, which has led you to this. Could you maybe give a little bit of background?
Okay, so I've done all kinds of things, and but my most recent thing was I was a yoga teacher for about 10 years. I ran my yoga studio in Kingston, and did that every day, all day. I was committed to my yoga practice and to serving the community there in Kingston, and we did a lot of good. There was a lot of healing that went on in that yoga room. That is for sure, myself included. I came to the yoga with a.
Okay, I can't even do it anymore. I got to bring him on screen here. I could literally watch this guy all day, and I did. In preparation for tonight. Jonny Rowe, welcome.
Hello, Jim. I'm so glad to see you, my brother. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be with you.
You have a way of lighting up a guy. I don't know if I think it might be that I'm a little bit prone to praise, and you give it out to everyone equally abundantly. So thank you.
Listen, it's my pleasure. Believe me, it's the world is filled with all kinds of terribleness, and when you come across a beautiful flower, believe me, I benefit more than the flower does.
Brother. Well, I think a flower in all of our lives, and also the subject matter here tonight, is the Freedom Convoy. So yeah. I think that maybe we'll just get right into it here. Yeah. And start playing. I've got a video, dude, I've got hours and hours and hours of footage, right? So yes. I don't even know what the hell. This one video is I don't know, over an hour long. So we'll just play it the whole time and we'll just chat. And if there's anything that you'd like to discuss, I can see if I can find the footage and we can work it out from there, brother.
Okay. That's great, brother. No, I remember this. It's beautiful.
So now I put in the post that you are a Wellington regular. Can you kind of qualify what that statement means? What is a Wellington regular?
So a Wellington Street regular is a person who shows up on Wellington Street regularly. But no, that's the name that we ended up with for our group of freedom fighters here in Ottawa, and we are on Wellington Street, and there's a nice group of us, and we've been engaged in continuous resistance. So we're there every single day, and so we're all a bunch of regulars, and there's a whole bunch of us. There's a lot of us, and each one of them is putting in a lot of time and effort to make it happen. And so, no, we have a great team, and we've been really working well together.
So now, when you say there's a lot of us, I first of all, I know that number varies, and it can be from quite few to quite many. So maybe you can give us parameters of what that looks like.
Sure.
How few are there at times? How many are there at times?
Sure.
And how long have you guys been at this?
Yeah, right. So we've got our group is somewhere between 100 and 200 people. And from that pool, we have, maybe a half a dozen that go every day. And then we have maybe a dozen or so that go every other day. And then we have about 20 or so that go twice a week. And then we have about another 20 or so that go once a week. And so, if you show up on a Tuesday afternoon, you might find a half a dozen people. If you show up on a Friday night, you might find 50, 60, 70 people. You show up on a Saturday afternoon, you might find, anywhere up to that, right? So we have a pool of about, let's say about 150 for sure, active people who are showing up regularly. And we don't all show up at once usually because we're into a continuous situation. So instead of having one day a week or one rally this month where everybody goes, we're there every single day. And so everybody goes in and puts in their time, and it works very well.
On this very street that we're putting footage on,
right.
This is where you're talking about. This is where you occupy on a daily.
Yeah. And we're still there. We're still there. We've been there, over 700 days. It's every day basically since the convoy left. Now, I did not start. I was living in Kingston during the convoy, and so for the first 4 or 5 months after the convoy, I was up there about halftime. But then I moved to Ottawa, and I've been there every day since. And so no, it's been. It's 2 years now, brother. 2 years.
So, and do I understand it correctly? There's some people that have been there every single day for over 600 days or something?
Yes. Yeah. So we've got guys like Brian, Brian Dirksen, the trucker that never left. He's been there, when we say every day, these guys might have missed one day, maybe 2 days. We've got guys like Steve G, who's been there pretty much every single day. Guys like Danny Boucher has been there every day. Francine and Rob and Christine and Claude, and the list goes on. Yeah.
So it's so fascinating to me that you guys can do this without any centralized structure.
Yes.
I really think it's a beautiful thing, because I'm not very good with centralized structure.
That's right.
And as you were saying, people make up their own minds as to when they come, or
That's right.
How does that work? Like, do you get together in coordinated action? Does somebody suggest something and others go with it?
No, it works perfectly because everybody is a volunteer. We don't make any plans. Everybody just shows up to do the thing. We know the location. It's always the same place. This is right in front of Parliament, right in front of the Prime Minister's office, and we have highly motivated people. And all of these people are kind of one-man armies. They show up and they're prepared to do it by themselves. But we work really well together, and we all know each other very well. And each one of us is kind of, good at a certain thing, and that's what we do. And so, but no, we don't have any leaders. Our group is the same as most of the freedom fighters in the world, which is that, we got here through betrayal, and we have a problem with leaders in general, and so we just as soon not have those. And, we've also noticed that, people with or groups and organizations with leadership structures like that are easily destroyed. And, so we have avoided, countless problems because we don't operate that way. And every single person in our group is qualified and capable and experienced enough to lead their own group. And so we all do fine together because none of us are we're all highly motivated, let's say.
Okay, well, now let's talk about that then. The motivation. What is the motivation? What's the central motivation? What do you believe that you all share in common that has you go out of your way? You're clearly not getting a paycheck for this stuff. I mean,
Right. No, the thing that that we all have in common, we have several things in common, but the first thing that we have in common is something that maybe a lot of us have in common, which is that we have all suffered at the hand of the man. And it's a personal situation. It's not that we saw on TV that other people were being hurt. We were hurt ourselves. And it's a personal situation. And so that is where the level of motivation really comes from. Every single person in our group and in almost every other group has a personal story of how they got there that is horrific. And the suffering that has led them to this is only valuable if it turns into action for change, and they understand this very well. Yeah.
So, well, action for change, brother. I mean, anytime we're taking some kind of action, something's changing. So let's
it's all in balance, my brother. No matter what you do, it's all in balance.
Sometimes I don't feel like that. It's weird. Sometimes I feel like I'm steering. My wife has been teaching me swimming. I have a strong motivation to learn swimming in a much more expeditious fashion and to do it well.
Right.
So my mother, the mother of my child, has been taking me out swimming and teaching me how to swim. And I don't know how to do it, and I'm swallowing water, and it's very humiliating at a certain level to be a grown adult to not know how to swim the proper way. There is actually a proper way.
There is. That's right.
And
if you think that that's trouble learning how to swim that way, you should imagine me trying to tell people in the yoga how to stand straight and breathe properly. Believe me, I know how it is. And if you're prepared to deal with that kind of failure and stuff, you're going to have no problem. But no, there's a lot of resistance to this. It's so great for you. That's great, man. Do you go swimming in the pool, or are you going to go? You're not going in the cold water, are you?
Oh, well, at this point it's the pool, because that's where we are.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we're going to be heading to Panama, and my wife is a lead lifeguard.
Yeah.
And I've been going with her for several years, and I've always been a backup lifeguard, and I know all of the protocols and such. But my swimming wasn't strong enough to feel like I should be a first responder.
That's so great, man. Good for you. Like, that's so great. So you're practicing and you're learning, and it's a great experience. I think that's cool, man.
I've been humbled lately. I've really been humbled. I've gotten close to some things, and
you've gotten strong is what's happened. I tell people there's a big difference between being humble and being humiliated, right? Like, these are different things, and people kind of conflate them, and it paralyzes them. And so you have to be prepared to be a student. Like, this is such a great experience for you, man. That's cool. I like that. No, that's listen, we need more of that, right? We need more of that.
I think reality is malleable, and the more we're willing to learn, the more cool things can happen in our life. We were talking about our minds being open.
Did you have just to ask, did you have a fear of water or some kind of event or something that kept you away from swimming, or was it just circumstance, or what was it?
Well,
you not be
well, what the heck, man? You're going to go at this? Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Yes, I had a pool in my backyard the whole time I was growing up, and as a result, I had more friends than some others.
Right.
They weren't my friends in the wintertime, but so we had a pool, and at one point I was having a hard time keeping up, and I was like taking on water, and my dad jumped in to help me, but I panicked so much that it made him panic, and then he ended up submerging me inadvertently.
Right.
So as a result, a little bit, and maybe that's why I never liked the water, but just to actually swim. And yet my wife is a competitive swimmer. I mean, this woman has had Olympic times back in the day, and still outswim. Like, it's amazing.
That's really cool. I used to have a fear of heights, And then I got married, and my wife, I'm divorced now, but at the time she was a rock climber. And so she started taking me rock climbing, and I learned how to become a rock climber. So it was a similar kind of thing. I kind of had to overcome this thing I had about this, in order to do this thing. And this is half the fun of having a partner in the first place, isn't it? Right? So
it doesn't matter how long you've been with a partner. It's still, I believe, an untapped resource, because there's things that they're great at that you're not. And thankfully, my mate has decided to align with me in so many ways that I don't know, like she aligns with me and then I align. It just, you give and you take, and then it works, right?
I love it.
Well, I mean, and certainly there was a lot of that at Freedom Convoy. There was a hell of a lot more given than there was taken at all.
It's amazing.
Give us your story. Like, how did you come about being at the Truckers Convoy? Okay. And then what was it that compelled you so much to stick around a couple of years later?
Okay, I'll tell you the story. So I was running my yoga studio in Kingston, and they say the joke is that they say, how do you make a small fortune in yoga? And the answer is to start with a large fortune. And so the yoga business was a terrible struggle as a business. It was a great experience. And so I worked many years to make it happen. And in 2019, I moved. We had a rental studio in downtown Kingston, about 5,000 square feet, and the rent was very steep. It was premium spot. And so in 2019, I purchased a building that was yoga studio on the ground floor and apartments on the second floor. And we're going to rent the apartments and pay the mortgage, and the whole thing was perfect. And so we did a lot of work to be able to get to that point. And I had invested my entire life into this, and I was completely devoted to the business and the way of life and the whole thing that I was doing there. The yoga changed my life. The yoga was by far the most important thing that happened to me. It was a ridiculous cure for virtually everything that plagued me. But nonetheless, so the COVID came.
Hold on, I don't want to leave that there. We'll come back to that. We will come back to that, because that's a component of this for sure.
Yes. So so the COVID came, and my business was destroyed. I could see from the very first day what was going on. I've been awake for a long time, and I know something about these matters, and so I was under no illusions about what was going on from the very beginning. And so I was fortunate that I was born in the States. And so I have I still have my American citizenship. My mom's side was Canadian, so I'm a Canadian citizen, but I was born in Texas. And so I was waiting it out, and I said that I was going to wait until the end of the year of 2021. If things hadn't changed by then I was going to leave and leave the country. And so I had looked around, and I found a place in Flagstaff, Arizona. That's where I was going to go. And so December came, and nothing had changed. And so I put my house up for sale. I packed all of my furniture in the storage units, and emptied the house, and emptied my bank accounts. And I was going to leave. I was due to leave on the 15th of January. And then I had a close family member die from the myocarditis suddenly. First week of January. And a week later, I heard that so I was dealing with that with my family, very traumatic for the whole situation. And then I heard on the internet that the truckers were coming. And so as soon as I heard that, I got on the phone and I made myself a reservation at the Chateau Laurier. And I came to Ottawa. I got here on, I guess it was Friday the 28th about noon. Checked into the hotel and walked out on the street with my megaphone and went to work. And I was there every day, 12 hours a day on the street in the same place, saying the exact same things over and over and over again for the whole time. And,
were you right here? I think this was the corner, wasn't it?
I was a little further down. I was on Wellington, further down, close by the War Memorial. Kind of like, yeah, right where it crosses the canal there, right where it's at the top of the hill, and people were coming up the hill to walk, from the Rideau Center and from the market. They're walking up the hill towards Wellington Street. And I was there with my megaphone saying, "Welcome to Ottawa. Thank you for coming. You're in the right place. You're doing the right thing." Just welcoming people and thanking them for coming. And I did that all day, every day.
Oh my God, dude! Yeah. So you were like the official greeter. You
right.
Took it upon, like you were, instead of the Walmart, you were the Ottawa greeter.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I never experienced anything like it. It was.
Did you have? Sorry, I'm looking at Chef G in the back here. Did you have any Chef G's food?
I did not. I didn't ever eat. I didn't ever eat because, and I'm still that way. I never eat until the very end of the day. I can't. If I start eating, it slows me down too much. So I didn't really eat. I did walk around and tour the place, but for the most part, I stayed at my post. I stayed in the one spot the whole time. I would come out from the hotel in the morning, and I would get there, and I would spend about 4 hours. I'd go in and take a break for an hour or two, come out, do another 4 hours, and then back and forth all day, every day. And I think I saw every single person there,
oh my God.
Yeah, I got about.
I want to know if you saw these people here. Okay, I'm just about to come up on it on this clip, and they're the ones that had a little tent right at the corner where everybody is all the time. But it was a little red tent. I gotta get up on a little bit of footage here. These are the people here.
Oh, okay. Yes.
They were the nicest people ever.
These people.
He's a doctor, and I'm kind of getting in their way. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry.
Well, I'd like to spend a minute or two. We gotta run, but just kind of tell us a little bit about you guys, man. Why and what, and
I just showed up, and I he went like this, and I said I'm gonna go see him, but I think he was just waving at somebody else.
No, I seen you. Yeah, I want everybody I see.
My eyes aren't that great.
Anybody I make eye contact with walking by here, I try and wave them in, and I bring them in, and it's just a little setup, a little taste of the East Coast. Like I want people to. Yeah, I'm from Prince Edward Island, and we just brought this little setup to give people a spot to come in, warm up, and just chat. Like
he was actually just telling me all of this. Hold on a second. I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead.
So
they're just saying it just came from PEI. He's like, I'm from the island, man. I put up my tent, I invite people in, and they get warm, and that's what I do.
Yeah. It's amazing, right? The friendliness and the openness and that human connection with strangers and stuff. I don't think anybody there had ever seen anything like that. And, I know I hadn't. And I know that there's a lot of people, and I think, Jim, you've got some experience with this, who have maybe knew that this kind of stuff existed before this and had maybe had some experience looking for it. So we have some idea about exactly how rare it is for this. You can't artificially produce this. People tried to do that and they can't do it. And so like if you go to a music festival or, you go out to Burning Man or, any of these things, you're going to get a small taste of people. What you'll get is people really putting effort into achieving this state. When you see all of these people who have achieved this state just naturally, it's like, it is quite a thing. Yeah, I mean, it is quite a thing. Yeah, and I think everybody was impressed by that. Yeah, I know I was.
I love the way you put that, because to try to quantify it, you could say a festival, okay? And I think that what culminates in a festival is exactly what you said. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of investment. You have to go out of your way. You're uncomfortable. You're in a foreign place. You might not understand the language. All of these things add to the experience because they're more difficult. And then when you get through it, you feel better about yourself. But this was supposed to be a protest, and it turned into a love fest.
Right. That's right.
It was.
That's right. No, and I think that was because, you know, we were also happy to be outdoors and free, and to see that other people were feeling that too. And you know, we had been spent 2 years in just the worst 2 years of all of our lives. I mean, there's 40 million people in this country, and not a single one of them is going to say that those 2 years were good. Everyone suffered through that, and so just the excuse to be able to say it's over and we're going to get through, you know, it was a celebration of that, right? That we had survived, and that you know, we were going to make it through, and I think that you know, it was a very powerful thing. You know, I think that everyone already had that, like the protesting was not really the main thing, because people had such a feeling of victory and triumph, you know. They had that feeling already, you know, and so they didn't feel like, you know, they felt great, right? And so it's hard to complain when you feel great, right? So,
well,
you know,
it's interesting you say this, okay, you talk about this, and now I'm starting to remember why I felt so good. Like on the videos, I could go over and over. I should just make a clip of all of the clips every time I go, oh my God, I can't believe this is the coolest thing ever. You know, I think that the reason for that for me was that I was always concerned in a protest situation that I was going to be picked out and thrown. You know, when they arrested me and broke my thumb, I think it had more trauma on my psyche than I maybe realized, because if I'm in smaller groups, I feel more vulnerable. But here I didn't feel vulnerable at all. Look at all the people. I'm saying, you know, and then at any given time I had 100 people in my hand, because that's how many people were watching live at times. You know?
Yeah. No, and that's another thing, right? Is that, you know, we were living in fear, but all of us know fear. And, you know, the COVID was not the first time we had felt fear. And so, but the convoy might have been one of the first times where we really did not feel any fear, like we, you know, and it's like, it was such a contrast, you know. It's like, you know, last week I was scared my neighbors were going to kill me, or maybe the government was going to kill me. And then this week I'm surrounded by all of my neighbors who are smiling at me, and so it was quite the contrast had something to do with it too. But no, this was all because of what had happened before. You know, the 2 weeks before the convoy, people were not celebrating because they loved truckers. You know, they were celebrating because this meant the end of the jail, right? So, you know,
that we could come outside, and it was okay to come outside, and we're going to group together, and regardless, it was okay, and we weren't going to be picked off and fined and jailed and all the other things.
Yes, and everybody was saying, we've had enough of this. We're not going to do this anymore, you know. And so no, you know, I think that those 2 years were very traumatic, and I think that we've been through the middle. We've got a long ways to go, but I think that you know, the first step, especially when you have such a beautiful, convincing, persuasive step like the convoy, it's a great thing to have energy like that to propel us through the process that, you know, we're in now, right? You know, the energy from that is that's still pushing us, and which is good. We need that, you know, because we got a ways to go. You know, we're not done yet.
Well, this is pushing. I mean, we might as well just talk about that now. There is several convoys that are coming up. Upcoming. I prefer to leave it to the end of the show, but if I do, I might forget.
It's okay. Listen, it's all mixed together.
You know, but there are people heading to Ottawa. I mean, there are people that are heading to the Windsor border. There are people that are heading to not to shut the thing down or anything like that. It just to commemorate what was happening.
That's right.
Some people use the term celebrate. I don't really understand that necessarily. I think that I'm not feeling that quite so much these days. I feel like more work is involved.
Yes.
But
I think that, you know, yes, we're expecting lots of people. Okay, so we're on the job getting things organized here in Ottawa, ready for people to show up for the big weekend, and that's going to be the 16th, 17th, 18th, with Saturday the 17th being the big main event. And we're going to have all the famous people giving their speeches, playing their music, Going to be dancing and singing and play some games and have some fun. Bring some signs, bring some flags, etc., etc. We've got a permit for this on the hill, so they're not going to kick us off, and it should be fine. Everybody knows we're coming, and it's all going to be fine. And we're expecting quite a number of people. I don't really try to keep track, but from some of the stuff that I've seen, just people trying to find hotels, it looks like there's a lot of people coming.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen that too, man. I share out only the things that I think have value, and I did share out one originally put out by Corey Sager, and it was a collecting of goods and clothing and items that could be brought up to Ottawa and distributed through the church there, through Melissa,
yes, biker church. Yeah, I think that's great. I think there's several initiatives like that, and I'll tell you what. These biker church people are fantastic,
aren't they?
Yes,
they are top shelf. I'll tell you.
Absolutely, and I'm not a Christian, but I love those guys, and I'm not a Christian, and I still go there sometimes, right? But I love Melissa for sure, Rob too. But Melissa does a shit ton of work. The church does a lot of work for the community, but they do more than freedom work, right? You know what I mean? Like they do church work. They're helping people in desperate need. But I'll tell you that Melissa and a bunch of other people down there, they're hardcore freedom people, and she's a warrior, I'll tell you. And those guys are great. And there's another 100 little groups like that, not just churches, but other little groups. Every little town's got their own group of, a dozen, 20, 50 people that they do their thing. And they're very effective. And this is all over the country. This is something that we understand. Every town, every city, there's millions and millions of us. The truth is that the elites who push this stuff on us, they're a very small number, right? They're a small number of the population. We're the majority of the population for sure. Now, so many people have apathy or indifference or non-participation, and this can be a problem. But never before have we had the masses mobilized like this against these elites, and they're just as tiny a minority as they've ever been, and they're a tyrannical minority, and we're going to get rid of them and replace them with good people.
This term offends me. I have to say, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The term offends me to think that there is any classification of human that considers themselves to be so much better than the other classifications of humans that they are of a. Now, I understand an elite athlete,
right?
Okay, that's in a specific discipline, and they are
not a moral elite.
Oh, come on! What the hell is that?
That's exactly what our enemies claim to be. And that is exactly what they claim to be. And it is an absolute, it's nonsense. I'm with you, brother. It's offensive. The whole concept that there are people who say that they know better than you what's good for you.
How is that possible? How does anybody know better for me what's better for me than me?
I'm with you, brother. This is completely irrational, but the whole system of our elitist system is based on that idea. And it is false, and it is obscene, and it is offensive to me as well. And this is what we're fighting against.
Let's just back this up just a little bit, because you were talking about how there's all these little groups and all these little towns, and they're quite disconnected in that they're just organic. They just popped up.
Yes.
What do you think would be a potential, and I'm just throwing this out at you, brother, but I mean,
sure.
Church of Bubbles would like to be the connective tissue between these little groups. That's what I'd like to do. So if you have any ideas along those lines, or anyone there's people watching right now. Hi, people that are watching. I'm sorry.
Right. Hello, people that are watching. I will tell you this. I think that we have the illusion of separateness because of the geography. So we may be physically separated, but our network is actually quite large. And so we are connected to all of these groups. All of these groups are connected to each other on the internet. but not in person because it's a 10-hour drive or it's a 5-day drive or a $1,000 flight. You know, you want to come to Ottawa for the weekend. Well, you're going to spend $1,000, and people are not up for that. But it doesn't mean that they're not supporters, and it doesn't mean they're not with us, and it doesn't mean that they're not ready to do when it's time. And so, I know all of these little groups, and just because they don't come to Ottawa doesn't mean that we're not watching each other. We're all kind of watching each other. Now, I agree. I think that everything we can do to keep those connections, we don't have to build this. We just have to maintain it, right? It's because it's internet connections, but nonetheless. And so, yeah, brother, listen, you hop in that bus and go town to town and do a little bit revival action on that thing, right? And bring them out there and
doing that, man.
You just save them one by one, brother. You give them the bubbles and save them. Yes. Yeah,
it's crazy. You know what? I blew my bubble brains out this season. Because I have this splurge at the end of the year where I try to use up as much bubbles as possible because it freezes over the winter time and it's not as effective the future year.
Right.
But it's been so damn nice. I could have been blowing bubbles the whole damn time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You gotta your whole thing is
I don't want to
great.
take it too far, but sorry.
You know, in that opening clip, I remember talking about this, and I'll say some more about it. You know, when I first met you in Kingston, I was impressed with you because when I say you know what you're doing, your approach is to approach the feelings, and this is very important when we're living in a world of when your opponent is irrationality. You know, we cannot logic our way out of with irrational people. That's not effective, right? But so you have to go directly into the feelings, right? You have to get them to feel something, right? And so, most people, it takes them a while to figure this out. You, brother, you already knew this. You were right on the job and already creating tremendous effect, right? And you can see how something so simple, just to make a person feel that simple little feeling and then associate it with this, and it's a very powerful thing. And in the face of all of the irrationality and this kind of stuff, 5 minutes of bubbles is way more effective than arguing with somebody all day long, right? So yeah.
And I cannot thank you. I mean, you have a wonderful way of speaking that makes me feel very special.
Oh, good.
However, it was literally just watching the effect that the bubbles had. I blew some bubbles. I saw what people did. Right. They reacted in a state of suspended disbelief. And I went, wow, that's what I want. Because as soon as people are kind of taken out of their daily norm, all of a sudden their mind is open enough to receive something that might be a little bit more advantageous.
This is very high level persuasion, and this is what we need. And this is the kind of thing that our opponents, they have guys who have PhDs on this, and they don't do literally, and they don't do as good a job as you do because they don't believe it, right? They don't live it, and so this is the genuineness that, along with these techniques, make it it's such an amplification of these things. And you're exactly right. You see a tiny little feeling and how powerful that is. That's all it is how do you open somebody's heart? Just a tiny bit. That's all it takes. And so if you can take them back to a 5-year-old when they love bubbles, listen, man, that's all it takes. And so, yeah, man, no, it's very persuasive. This is they say it's a war of ideas, and eventually it will be. But we've got all of this emotional stuff that we've got to get through first, right?
Brother. Okay, so here, you talk about it being a war of ideas. I've never said that. I've always said that this is a war for the minds and hearts of people.
Right. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
And I'm not too good at playing the mind game. I'm not good at playing mind games at all. I'm not good at sarcasm. I'm not good at any of that.
Right.
I don't. But I like to feel good, and I like it when other people feel good. And when other people feel good, I feel good, right? So
there you go.
If we can be observant enough to realize, like the bubble thing, it's funny what you mentioned. The thing about the bubbles is I do believe in the bubble. Look at my head. It's a freaking bubble.
Yes.
Okay. I believe in the beauty of the bubble, and I believe in the beauty of other people. When I sit with you, Jonny, I mean, I remember your name specifically, but I don't generally remember people's names, and I'm so sorry that they feel offended. But I'm sitting with the essence.
We Johnnies have it easy here.
You know what I mean? Like I'm getting a feeling from you. That's all that matters. That's what banks.
That's exactly right, brother. That's exactly right. And this is more important than people think. And putting that into practice is how you change the world. And then putting that into service of a cause that is, a just cause is like, this is very high level. And it's high level because it works, because it's effective. It actually works. And so, there's a lot of people out there who are highly motivated. They want to do something, but they don't know what to do. And then they might find something to do, but they don't know how to do it. And so, this is a big problem in our situation because people have got to figure it out as they go. And so, when
Okay. I have something for this. Okay.
Yes.
It's called the 3 P's.
3 P's.
Peter, passion. Okay. So the 3 P's are where your passion and your purpose meet.
Yes.
Now the profitable part, I'm working on that. But passion, purpose, profit.
Yes.
Right?
This is exactly it. And when you life is meant to be loved. This is a beautiful place, this earth, and being a human being it's just the greatest. And there's so much awesomeness to do and to see and to understand and to be. And so pain and suffering is incidental compared to the wondrousness of what's going on. And we're all in a journey to get to these kinds of to unfold, and we're all in a kind of a process, and but no, I love the whole thing, man. I love it. And
where I feel that, Jonny, where I feel that the where I see the glory of the manifestation of life and how everything's slowed down and everything is in nature. There's something about the pureness of nature that just takes me there immediately.
Yeah. No, I'm a big nature guy myself. It's wonderful. And, we spend so much time, especially in the movement and, the stuff before the movement, all the COVID stuff, it's been so unpleasant, and so it's kind of a journey, part of the healing process to get back to the place where you can see the good in things and you start to be able to, it's a shift in attitude. And this is all part of the healing process. And I will tell you that, I see the whole freedom movement as a healing process for the whole, like on a mass scale. We've all been traumatized by the same thing at the same time, and we're all going through the process together. And it's a kind of an ugly, messy process, but we're getting there, right? And people are starting to feel better. Things are going to be starting to improve, and bit by bit, step by step.
Dude, it never ceases to amaze me the caliber of people that we've met throughout this journey. You must have seen a whole range of people coming into Ottawa.
I've met them all. I will tell you a story. So I was in Ottawa last, whenever it was after the convoy. I was there the whole time. But I was in Kingston, so I was coming back and forth. But when the inquiry came for the Emergencies Act inquiry, I stayed at the Swiss Hotel there, and I stayed for the whole 6 weeks, so I could attend every day. So I went every day for the whole day, and we'd been on the street, assembling our group and doing all of this resistance and various things, tyrant patrol, etc., and building the group, and for months and months and months before the inquiry. And I wasn't really connected with the other groups across the country, so I didn't really know. I knew the Ottawa people, but I didn't really know. So, anyways, I walk into the thing for the day, the first day, and Tamara is there, I show up, and it's me and all my friends, and we're out there on the street, and we got flags and signs, and it's like, holy, people didn't kind of expect, I think, for us to all show up. And so I'm standing there with all these people, that we brought, and then I see Tamara show up, and she comes over to introduce me.
Now you're talking about Tamara Leach at this point.
Tamara Leach, right? And
Yeah.
so she comes over and she wants to introduce me to her lawyer.
Oh.
And so I turn around, and it's Eva Chipiuk. And Eva Chipiuk is my jaw just about hit the ground. I had no idea that she was there. And it's like in a movie or something where two childhood friends grow up and separated in the army, and then they're in a battle and they're fighting, and there's no more enemies. They turn and see each other. She's a giant in the yoga world. This Eva Chipiuk, yes. And so when I saw that, so she's part of Freedom Corp and all of this stuff, Eva Chipiuk. And so when I saw that it was her, I didn't know that she was a lawyer. I didn't know that she was in the freedom movement. I had no idea that she was involved with Tamara, but I knew her. She's just about one of the most powerful yogis that there is. She is a very powerful yogi and a very, very famous world famous yoga teacher, and a giant in the field. And her training is far beyond. I mean, I've done a lot in the yoga, but she's definitely my senior. And so to see her there, when I turned and I saw her, and we recognized each other, and we didn't know we were going to be there, right? It's like,
that's so weird.
And that's when I knew everything was going to be fine. I said, if this person is here doing this, everything is going to be fine. It was so reassuring to see her there. The movement is filled with people, all kinds of people. And I have met people with strength and patience and determination and constant things that I have never seen in my life. I spent my whole life trying to be around very high performance stuff, right? The yoga was that way too. And I've never seen anything like it. The people that I've met that are in this movement, they are just a different breed. It's fantastic. And and they're all different kinds, there's we do our group. We're street activists, right? We don't work in the office.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, we work on the street, but there's a bunch of people working in offices, and they're doing a great job. There's a bunch of people doing, there's a million jobs to do in this, and it's amazing, right? A lot of these people you'll never hear from, you'll never see them,
Yeah, one of the groups of people that I had never really had a lot of exposure to previous to the convoy was the vets.
Yes.
And as a result, I ended up getting to meet and spend time with and start to understand the vets and them and some of the things that they've been put on the line for. My gosh, I cannot wait to tell a story of a gentleman I just got a hold of today who was facing life in prison, court-martialed for mutiny. Anyway, it's a whole other world. And I want to share a video here just with one of the guys we got to spend some time with. He was there with his PTSD dog, Sparky. Hang on.
Oh yes.
Hey, what's kind of your biggest impact moment so far that you've experienced here so far?
Like here,
since you've been down in Ottawa for the freedom protest.
Man, it's the absolute feeling of love when you just everybody just walks around and they're so caring, right? And if I talk to another Army guy, and he was stationed here in Ottawa, right? And for one, he said same feeling I had. Man, I've never seen so many Canada flags, right? And that's exactly what he said to me, and I'm like, yeah, right. And then you walk, and he said, I had to come here just to feel what it feels like, right? Because it's not it's not visual, it's not auditory, it's a feeling inside, man, when you see all the people and the love and the people coming together, like, you know, when they bring in a chuck wagon, horses, for fuel, and of course the police turn them away, or whatever, right? I mean, and then I think the final count, or one of the counts for Alberta, at the Cooch border crossing, 500 cowboys rode in, right? They said 200, but it was like 400 or 500, right? I don't remember. When everybody's coming out, right? When everything and the kitchen sink is coming out, I think you can be pretty sure the people are behind this, right?
Yeah, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Man. I love that guy. That's beautiful, right?
It's amazing to me the caliber of people we actually get to hang out with and get to meet.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah. And you know, when it's one thing for a hippie to say peace and love and to show his feelings. It's a completely different thing for a trained soldier or any of these other kind of muscle people that operate the world, for them to have this experience. It is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And, you know, to see the strongest, manliest men in Canada to be walking around with their hearts wide open, feeling feelings without fear or trying to avoid them, and then being peaceful. Now, this is the most important part. When the man came in and pushed everybody out, and nobody raised their hand against the police, this was one of the greatest moments of my life. It changed my life to see that strength. That is the greatest display of strength in the form of self-control that I have ever seen in my whole life. And I pray to God that I can live up to that for the rest of my life. It convinced me that that there was hope, that there was no way that I had a small understanding that there was a deep, permanent goodness inside of people. And I'd read about it. I had a small experience with it. You see it in the movies occasionally, but to see this in real life, 1,000 men who were perfectly capable of sending every one of those guys to the hospital, and not a single one of them raised their hand. And they didn't have a meeting about it. They didn't decide this as a group. Every single one of them decided this as the violence was being put on them. And I have never seen anything like this in my life. This was the greatest demonstration of strength I have ever seen. And this is why we're in the business we're in now. Because once you know that exists, well, what do you do? What do you do, right? And so you've got to go with that. You've got to go with it, right? And so, yeah, man, it was quite a thing. It was, I never seen anything like it. I was so proud. I was so proud to be a Canadian. That was my proudest moment as a Canadian, was when the bad guys went in there and hit everybody with the batons and broke everything down, started beating the shit out of everybody, and no one raised their hands against them. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And this is something that I don't think people I don't think that they give enough credit to. See, and this is exactly the point. Okay?
Do you know how much training Gandhi had to give the people in India to get them to be able to do such a thing? It went on for years and years and years, with millions and hundreds of millions of dollars and large numbers of people preparing the public to be able to do such a thing. And these guys just naturally did it with no training, no instruction.
It wasn't out of fear. It wasn't out of any of that.
It was not out of fear.
It was literally people, and these are people who had lost a lot. Man, some of these people had lost their livings. They had lost their families throughout this. Some of them lost their freaking sanity. And that was the thing I keep saying. I am so damn surprised and proud of the Canadians who exercised restraint. Yes. And that is strength.
That's
Exercising restraint is strength.
it's the highest strength. It's the supreme strength. There is no other strength that is worth a damn or has any kind of meaning without this as the standard. Self-control is the number one thing. And so when I saw the natural, people can work on this. I mean, but to see the natural and the universal, it was a ridiculous thing. And so, what it means is that no matter how much irrationality there is, no matter how much suffering there is, no matter how much you inflict punishment on people, there's something that's more powerful than that, right? Mm. And no matter what you do, it cannot be extinguished. This goodness inside the human, it's built in, and it's pretty cool.
And sometimes things like the Freedom Convoy happen, allow it to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it has to. There's a bunch of powerful invisible forces at work. Same as always in history, right? And revolutions do not just come out of nowhere, and this stuff just doesn't come out of it. And so the conditions are what make it. And so, when the conditions are right, what happens, what you have inside you shows up, right? And so it reveals everybody's character. And so that's the same thing with this COVID. We were all had a character test, and most of us had a terrible failure with this, right? And now we're recovering from this. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And so, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
When you say a character test, you're saying that the pressure got so strong from different areas that we compromised ourselves. Many of us compromised ourselves in some way that we otherwise wouldn't have had those pressures and stressors not
100%. 100%. And, there's only so much people can take, right? And so there's very few people that you can just torture indefinitely and they won't break.
Take a look at this group of people here. They have no idea who I am, and I got a friggin' camera shoved right up in their face. I guess it's all the leaders of the thing. There's Chris Barber and all this is right outside the Ark Hotel, which
outside the Ark, yeah.
And I didn't know, I didn't even actually really know or care. And I put my camera up and look at, none of them are happy my camera's there. Look at none of them. I don't blame them. This is what you learn. Like, I didn't have any training in being a live streamer or a reporter or anything like that, right? So I was figuring out as I go. I usually look at the reactions in people's face, but when I'm live, I don't have a choice. I must interact with these people if I've now put the camera on them.
Yes.
And but whatever, not one of my prouder moments. And I'm sorry to everybody in this picture who don't look too happy. And I hope you're happier now that I'm playing this clip about you.
Everybody deserves, everybody gets an off day. It's okay.
They went through a lot, man.
They did.
Oh my God! I was the people that were here. Their mates were having their bank accounts frozen, and they were having their bank accounts frozen, and like they were just going through hell. And lady here, this one here specifically, I was up in a meeting with her, and she was talking about how her husband had her freaking bank account. I wonder if she was mentioning it here. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but just amazing, dude. I mean, the stresses that people went through is incredible. Yeah. You've been there for hundreds and hundreds of days, every single day. Every single day.
That's right.
Okay, now I came down a couple weeks or a couple months ago for a couple of weeks, and I came down a couple of days. And this isn't necessarily easy work, folks. It's not.
No, not necessarily easy.
I mean, people yell at you, and the police show up, and
yes, they do.
And people don't want to see you, and but you have to put on a smile and still try to communicate useful information to them. Dude, it's an amazing.
We try our best. It's a lot of hostility and conflict now. There's a lot less of that now than there was before. So things are thawing out. When we first were there, the first 6 months or so, it was pretty bad. And then there was a middle part where, it started to, and now, it's not as bad as it was. But no, there's still conflict and hostility. And we try to keep a very positive kind of thing all the time. But that being said, you know, you do something for 100 days, 700 days in a row, you know, you're going to have a few days that are maybe not your best days. And so we do our best, and we try to treat people accordingly, and, you know, but we try to keep our focus on not so much the people of Ottawa, but the politicians and the technocrats and the media people that are walking up and down Wellington Street every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're literally
Yes.
looking for those whom many believe to be the source of the problems here.
That's right. And so we like to keep a very kind of happy vibration, you know. But when the politicians walk by, we will yell at them. You know, we can give it a little bit back and forth. And so, no, we do that. And which I think is important to do. I think it's important that it gets done, you know.
Yeah, they better know if they're collecting a big paycheck and they're causing people damage that people aren't going to be quiet. I've heard a term, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I'm all about that idea, man. I don't. It's not my preferred flavor. I don't, you know, I've got other things that I do, but
Yes.
I'm really thankful for those who go out and do it. And I'm sorry to anybody who bitches and complains because somebody is out there doing something and trying to get the attention of those who make decisions in this country to make their world better. Because it's making your world better too, folks. I'm just saying. It's making all of our worlds better.
Yes.
When you know, and this is what a democratic process is about, man. Freedom of speech. Come on. Like, I mean, we don't have it online, but at least we got it.
You know, we have to be realistic about what the situation is. The truth is that we have corruption in our government that is at a level that is intolerable. And this has all been in our faces for a long time. And we have found through bitter experience that our systems of redress do not function. And so we have a very terrible position that we're in now, where the government does not respond to our complaints. And it is doing things that are not just morally wrong, ethically wrong, legally wrong. These are widespread suffering, millions of lives destroyed and thousands of people dead because of these policies, and our refusal to deal with the mistakes that were made and the crimes that were committed. As long as we continue to ignore these things, then these things are going to grow. And the problem, of course, is that, you know, these are really serious things. Yeah. And we have got to find a way to have the people who are responsible for this feel some kind of a cost. You know, are they going to go to jail? No. Are they going to get voted out? Maybe. Are they going to get derision in the streets? Absolutely.
Well, brother, you know what? Our time is up. I'm going to give the folks who watch another 10 or almost 15 minutes of Jonny. It was the last interview I had with him a couple months ago. I got the whole thing, dude.
Thanks, brother.
I rolled the first 2 minutes of it, and now I'm going to play the rest.
That's great. And all the beautiful people out there watching, be sure if it's possible for you to get to Ottawa, we would love to see you. It's going to be a great time. And if you can't get to Ottawa, then hang out with your local people and do your thing. And if you can't do that, then just watch it on the internet and ship it out to your internet friends. That's fine. All these efforts add up. So don't worry about what you can and can't do. Just do your thing, and it adds up. And you know, we're getting there. Things are starting to improve. And you know, there's so much effort going into improving the future that it's gonna be better. It is. It really is.
That's a good way of putting it, man, because the work always shows up later, doesn't it?
That's right, brother.
Now and the benefits show up later.
100%. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you're one hell of an altruistic dude. You teach me.
Well, no.
I feel honored to call you brother, and
thank you.
And
You're my brother.
Specimen of human being, man.
Yeah. Thank you. And no, same to you, Jim. And keep doing it. You're doing a great job. And don't stop, man. Listen, we're all working together well. And yeah, I'm so glad that you're doing this series. Get a job, yeah, you know. All right, peace, my brother.
I love you, brother. Jonny Rowe, That's on Facebook, and the other ones, thank you so much for coming. Here's another 15 minutes of Jonny, and I'm telling you, sit here and listen to this guy. He's got the solution to pretty much all of the world's problems. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
In a lost soul. And I was cured. Yeah. I did the yoga and I found a whole new world of healing. And I found a reservoir of strength and peace that I had no idea was there. And this is serving me very well now. My yoga teacher said that you have to do your karma yoga. You have to do what you're here on earth to do, and it's not yoga. Yeah, right? He said you don't know what it is, but it's something. And when you find out what you really are, you find out what you really are here to do, then this will come. And so you know, I taught yoga for 10 years, trying to teach people how to create peace. And that was I have done more with that. I've had more success with that on the street this morning than in all of my 10 years of teaching yoga in the yoga school. Yes.
So you found a way to apply this skill set.
Absolutely, brother. This is what it's for. And so the ability to create peace is not so that you can go home and just not be stressed about paying your bills or these kinds of things. No, it's to create peace where there is no peace. And so if you want to apply this knowledge, then you go someplace where there is no peace. And that's right here on Wellington Street. Wow. With all of these people who are suffering, who are in despair and suffering injustice, and where every day they're facing violence and hostility and conflict. This is the very place, you know, where this is fertile ground. If you want to grow peace, this is the place to do it.
So talk to me about this. I mean, how long have you been doing this? What, like?
I've been here since the convoy. I came to the convoy as soon as I saw that it was coming. I hopped in my car and drove down here, and I was here. And I've been here ever since. I was in Kingston, but I moved to Ottawa to be here full time, and so I've been on the street all day, every single day. Me and all my friends.
Hold on a second, brother. I just want to get this straight. So, from the convoy.
Now, I missed a couple of months there after I went. I missed a couple of months, but my friends were here, and so I joined them about a year ago. I've been here every day. Yes.
Literally been out on the street.
On the street every day. Yes. And the same with the rest of us. The Wellington Street regulars are here every single day. And I think the longest one here is Brian. He's been here over 600 days. And, you know, I've got 500
Where's Brian?
days.
I want to talk to Brian, too.
Brian, he's the trucker that never left. Danny is here. This is the guy who just drove up. He's got, 600 days. There are many, many of us. We're here every day. We're doing what we call continuous resistance. We have people here all day, every day.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
I had no idea.
Oh, yes. They know. And you know, we're doing our thing every single day. It never stops. And no, there's lots of great work to be done, and it's nothing but successes. You know, the victory that we're going to have, there's some ugliness to it. It's like the healing process. You know, there's some pain and suffering involved. If it's in the right direction and it's done the right way, it's part of it. And so that's what we're involved in now. You see the heavy police presence, and they've escalated things in the last week or so. They play hot and cold. They go, you know, and this is all part of it. You know, we have several people involved in the justice system going through their various, process punishments. But the resistance is continuous. And you know, it's
this is quite the thing, dude. I had no idea. I mean, I knew you guys were pretty consistent, but I didn't know you were that consistent.
Every single day, and not a single day missed. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so how do you see?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay,
these guys are pretty tough. They're pretty badass.
Okay, so no, this is kind of like even more exciting now because. So you guys are here daily, and this is a new wave that's happening here. Yes. This non-voy wave, or whatever it is.
Yes.
Can you speak to that? How does that make you feel? What did you expect it to come? Did you?
Yeah. Well, we watched it on the internet, and we saw everything. You know, we expect this. Everyone comes here. That's why we're here, because this is the place to do it. And so we are so happy to see them, and so grateful that people would come, and anybody who makes the effort, all these efforts, they add up. And every time a group shows up and does this, it's just part of it. It's absolutely necessary. And when you see people coming from this far away, spending this kind of effort, money and time, energy to add to it, these are the strongest people you'd ever want to know.
Hey, why are you so dedicated? What is it that makes you that devoted to something? Like what?
I want more than revenge. I want peace. I won't be satisfied with destroying my enemies. I want peace. And if I spend my energy on something else, I'd be wasting my time. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm dedicated to using my time in the most effective, most efficient way possible. I'm looking for a way to use every God-given talent I have for something that is bigger and more important than me, that will make a difference to me and everybody else. And so after careful consideration, I am on the street talking to the other people who come here and trying to find a way to create peace so that we can have peace.
So you, for some reason, have found the purpose of your life.
Oh, yes.
And you are now currently living it, and
yes.
have been for 600 days.
Yes, and even before, it's the same. It's so funny. My mom, who is not really into all of this stuff, she doesn't really know. She's an old lady, and then so I go and visit her, and she goes, "Well, what is all this about? Like, what's it like?" And I said, "Okay, Mom, it's just like the yoga, but with violence."
What do you mean with the violence? What do you mean?
It's a joke. It's because listen.
Because of the violence instigated.
Billy got tased, and the cops have put the beat down on several people.
Okay.
We're not violent,
Right.
but we
Right.
suffer violence.
Yes.
And it's a lighthearted thing. I'm here to do the same thing I've always done, which is to try to maintain my ability to create peace inside myself, and part of that is to try to spread it around. And so really the spreading it around is secondary to me being able to create it myself, right? And so if it catches on, that's great, but I have to put effort into this because I do not want to succumb to the terrible irrationality and hostility. I do not want to become one of these hateful people and that everyone wants us all to be. And no.
Oh, dude, you've taught me something. I do the bubble thing.
Yes.
Because on the inside,
Yes.
I don't feel like the bubbles.
Yes.
And that's the reason why I'm blowing them,
That's
because
right.
I feel I'm very
That's right.
upset about a lot of
Absolutely
things.
right.
And so it's easier
right.
for me to
That's right.
to show
It's
instead
reasonable.
of being peaceful.
Yes, it's not easier. It's harder, but it's reasonable. And so you understand that yes, we have righteous
indignation,
rage.
Yes.
We have righteous
Yes.
rage.
Yes.
And that has got to be expressed properly, right? Otherwise, it's completely self-destructive. And a reasonable person knows that. If you look at the situation and you think, what is the reasonable response to that is to use that power and strength to create peace and to create self-control and patience and determination and faith to know that it's all going to be okay. But you have to create that. You can't look for it, right? You have to create it from the inside out, right? And so this is the whole bubble thing. I recognize that immediately, right? Because that's exactly how to do it. And and I said many times, when we were all trapped in the COVID and we watched all those terrible riots and stuff down in the States, with that kid who shot those guys and like all that terrible stuff, right? We're watching that and I'm like, holy fuck. And so I thought to myself, well, what would I do if that was going on in my town? And I had an answer just like that. I said, I'd be down there with my megaphone and some Bob Marley and some weed, and I'd be creating peace, right? I would be dominating the situation with a peaceful vibration, right? And so if you know how to do that, well then that's what I know how to do that. And so that's what I do. And so, it's the same as what you do in a yoga class. If somebody's having a hard time in a yoga class, you have to be able to create peace, right? If you can't fight people and make anyways, it's a whole thing. And so if you bring that people respond to that, and they'll harmonize with that, right? And so, because they want to, right? They're looking for that, right? And so, especially the more angry and freaked out and spiky vibration, the more that is, the more they're looking for that solution. And you just give it to them, which is just a matter of playing some Bob Marley or just going over and smiling at them, right? Like, it makes a huge thing. So, this is, you know, peace is not hard to make.
Well, I would suggest that for you, peace is not hard to make because you've somehow figured it out internally. For the rest of us that are still working on it, I wanna thank you for not only your stance, your approach, your demeanor, but I want to thank you for really setting a great example of what leadership actually is, and that's not barking any orders to anybody else other than governing yourself.
That's we all do that, and that's one of the secrets to our group. You know, the Wellington Street regulars. We don't have any lead. We're all self-motivated, and you know, it protects us against a bunch of things. We don't have leaders, and we don't follow instructions. And, you know, so,
I think that's true for most of us. Most of us don't want to hear
that. I think we all came to Earth that way, brother. We're ahead on. But no, we're all doing the best we can, and we all are working together very well. You know, everybody comes in from out of town, and it works out perfectly, right? Because we're so glad to see them, and you know, we ready to help whatever they need, and you know, this is the place to come and get you know, kind of re-energized, so that when you go back, if you go back, you know, you can bring some energy back with you, right? And so, no, we're going to have a great time this week. Parliament will be in session. We're going to see all those criminals right there on the street. So we'll, you know, we're going to create some peace by dealing with some egos.
That's the only way you get peace, man. My ego never had any peace, I'll tell you.
But the peace is behind the ego. And so if you can break through the ego, inside of every human being is a beautiful, you know, light of peace.
I believe this full
and this is all enshrouded in a terrible shell of ego that is all an illusion, and it can be broken through, and there are many ways. So, yeah.
Come and break the illusion with Jonny, myself, and the gang down here in Wellington. All right.
Thanks, brother.
Okay,
I'm
brother.
so glad to see you.
I love you.
I love you, brother. I love you. And
you're the best.
We're winning. We're doing great.
Yeah. Oh, you are dynamite. I love you.
Thanks, brother.
Hey! I love you, man.
Oh, I love you, Jim. Thank you, my brother. You're doing such a great. It's so great.
You represent all the good stuff, man. I'm sorry I brought you back on again. I know you weren't expecting it.
No, it's okay. I was just going to go out on the fire escape and have a smoke, but I couldn't tear myself away from that that beautiful creature you had. It's like, ooh, who is that?
Great to see you, brother. I hope you get flooded with friend requests and anything else that you might require or prefer.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I hope it all comes to you too. And I can't wait to see you next time. I'll see you soon, I'm sure. And keep it going. This series is great, man. I'm encouraging some other of the regulars to get in touch with you, see if they want to go on too, because I think you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, they better do it quick because I only got a couple slots open.
Oh, you hear that? All you regulars, you better get in there quick. You have to fight over those last spaces.
I'm telling you, Daisy and all you guys. I mean,
listen, there's a bunch of them out there.
And we could put like 10 of them on a screen or something. Like we could get them all separate, right? So yeah, I'd love to block out a day for that. That'd be amazing.
All right, brother.
Well,
thanks for everything. It was a great show. And all you people out there, you know where to find us. We're right there on Wellington Street. Come down and see us, and you won't be sorry.
Love you, man.
Love you. Peace.
Peace.